Mm.
And the collaboration we're going to have going forward.
No better way to communicate to your audience.
How do we grow strategically now that we've gotten the right path forward? What's up, everybody? Welcome to Agents Who Win and my show with Thommy Sandvick. Appreciate you guys being here today. We have a special guest, Thommy, coming in talking about referral mastery. And it's exciting because obviously we want to create a business by referrals and not spend thousands and tens of hundreds of thousands of dollars on leads for people who don't know us. Because the average statistic is, I think there's 120 million leads sold last year and only 6 million homes sold. So it's at a 6% conversion, and half of those were referrals. So you have a 3% chance of getting somebody. So why not work with people who know, like, and trust you? And Thommy, take it away. Tell us about how to get more referrals and actually have fun with people and take all that money we spend on lead gen and actually spend it on our people to create more loyalty.
Yeah, exactly. So first of all, thanks for having me, as always.
Yeah.
Always fun to be on the show. It's fun to continue to evolve and just bring all of this to people. I think the thing is with referrals, right? You set it up so well. I couldn't have done it better. It's definitely, why not pour the energy into the people who already like, know, and trust you, and continue to give to them and work that way. Because what's interesting is, I got to reference a post, and I think this happens so much. I saw someone recently that said, like, how do I overcome the objection of, like, why someone should use me instead of doing for sale by owner, as example, like the value of the realtor. And it's like, well, here's the thing. You can teach, you can learn the skill of overcoming that objection, learning the communication that's required, learning the psychology that's required for those scenarios, right? Or you can train people who already like, know, and trust you and want to help you how to overcome that objection for you. So by the time they get to you, you don't even have to deal with it. It's literally just, I'm good to go. Hey, tell me about how you can help. And you're not overcoming those sorts of things. And I think that's a lot of the challenge sometimes when it comes to either the cold call with FSBOs, so common, right? Or obviously via leads, being chained to the phone, because you got to answer it quick, because if you don't, the next agent's going to answer it, and those sorts of things, and you lose that work-life balance that's very, very important to becoming successful. And so I think that's the core, right? That's why work on referral, first of all, is about that. The challenge that we have in referrals is kind of people tend to hit a wall, so to speak. Almost every industry, right? You start with make the list, your sphere. Who do you know? And you get through that list and you've done the contact, you've let them know, hey, I started in the business. Maybe you get some opportunities, but then it's kind of like, well, now what? And that's the lid that happens in so many industries that are 1099 kind of solopreneur based. So really looking to go, you can develop the skill of overcoming the objections. You can develop the skill of social media, or you can simply develop the skill of learning how to meet someone new and drive that relationship to a referral, and do it quickly along the way. And so I think that's why a lot of times people don't lean into referrals, because they think it takes too long, right? It's not consistent, that you can't control it, or that it's not scalable, that you can't grow with the referrals. And that's another kind of wall that typically gets hit. And so that's the core of what we're going to do, is work through those different areas and the three keys that help you to not, really create both consistent, controllable, and scalable referrals at the end of the day.
Yeah, I think, like we always say, with our company, it's like or with anybody, get your top 100, get your top 50 on the team. And that list is ever evolving. I mean, my top 100 is 83 right now of agents that I want to make sure I network and connect with on a regular basis. I need to be adding to that. So when I create a new relationship with somebody that I feel we have a good connection, now I have 84, now I have 85. And somebody might fall off too. That's just, we've lost a connection with. And I see where you're saying there's that wall that you have to get past. Getting past that wall is going out and telling the people, hey, we're hosting, like we did a flower event last week or 2 weeks ago for Valentine's Day, which was a great success. What we sent it out to 1,000 people in our database. Obviously, we didn't want them all to come, but we made the invitation. And I got 15 people to respond to it, telling us they couldn't come. And then we had 5 people out of that 1,000 show up from our database. We had 120 people there coming to build a bouquet at our golf course on stuff that we supplied. And so what did I do? I met 115 new people that came, built a bouquet. We got introductions. We talked real estate with about, I don't know, 10 or 12 of them. So I'm happy with that. Talk some real estate, let them build some bouquets, take them home to the loved ones, and create some new relationships.
Yeah, exactly. And you said it so well, right? The power's in the invitation.
Yep.
And that's really a big, people are always looking for, hey, I want to call, right? I know I need to contact my database, but I don't want to just call them about real estate. I don't know how to open the call. I feel awkward about it. All these sorts of things happen. But what's interesting is like when you invite people to an event, it's so attractive. And like whoever gets mad at an invitation to an event, like they're not going to hang up on you, and then
inviting you to alcohol.
Yeah. Well, maybe that, right? Maybe when it's happy hours, guilty as charged when it comes to that, and that's the key is, and that's really how you create the scalability, right? Through events, which we're going to cover a lot more. But that ability to then not only do one event, do multiple events, and like literally know exactly what you're doing every single week of the year, like creating a plan to be able to communicate to your best people, right? So both to the people that, you said, hey, you talked to about a dozen people about real estate, which is awesome. And then for the rest of the people that came and had a great time, their next touch point could be another event, right?
Yeah.
And you just continue to build that. And it really, I was talking to another agent recently, and she said, like, these high-level masterminds, the highest producing agents, they just invite to events. Like, they just run events and invite to events. And when it's cooking and rolling, like, it's absolute magic. And then it becomes fun because your events can be things that you like to do. And that the sky's truly the limit in terms of what you can do to have fun with people, but also be generating referrals in the process.
So you're probably going to discuss this, but as a single agent, it scares me because I don't have a team behind me helping put the stuff together. I can create the idea, but then, I'm not busy selling houses. I don't have the time to execute this. How do I, what type of events would I host, or how can I do it where it doesn't overwhelm me?
Yeah, good question, because that's obviously the overwhelm comes in. They're learning everything about real estate, and then also wanting to be servicing the clients. Events can be as small as 25 people. My very first event, I did an I Love You latte, and I just invited people to come. And actually, I moved in the middle of my event invitation process. And it was my very first time doing the process that we teach. And I still had 25 people in the room. And it was just like, bring people together, buy them a latte. Now, as it turned out, it was, we had it at White Wolf Cafe, and they have a bar, and it was happy hour, and like half the room had wine in their hand, right? So I was like, all right, lesson learned. Like, my network likes alcohol. I get it. So that's
now
how
you know what to invite them back to. I Love You Wino.
Yeah, exactly. Wine Down Wednesday. Like, there's so many different ways you can do it, but actually it's a perfect thing. When you're getting started, we've really shifted more towards this messaging, especially because we've really found that small and intimate is winning right now. People want connection. And so when you put 25 people in the room, first of all, it doesn't take a lot of invitation. There's 25 phone calls. That's over the course of a 7-week process. That's not very complicated. It's not a ton of time. You can hit them in between, in the car, right? Drive Time University can be drive time, phone calls, right? So call them in the car and do the invitation if you have to. But it really can be small, and it doesn't have to be super complex. It's just the power of bringing the people together, give them a great experience, and letting them know, hey, I'm choosing to build my business on referral and give more to you guys instead of making Zuckerberg richer. So, thank you in advance for your support, confidence, and trust in referrals. And it's super simple, right? And it's and people love it. So there's a lot of different ones. We're definitely going to cover a bunch of different types, but Most common for smaller ones are like an I Love You Latte. Wine Down Wednesday is a perfect example too. Even my Not So Average Happy Hour has been done in a more small, intimate environment rather than the big 80 people environment that I've done in the past. So it really can range. And it really, I mean, honestly, if you can spend 1 to 2 hours a week over the course of 7 weeks, you can put on an event. It doesn't take a ton.
It's not overwhelming. Once you find a location, I think you get the good location, keep going to the same place, and you've already got connections with the manager, and then you start just building from there, and your systems do get in place. That's why I say it does become overwhelming for the single agent, but once you do it, then you've got the process. It's kind of like if you call FSBO. Once you do it, it's not as overwhelming as it was picking up the phone the first time. Learning the systems there.
Yeah, exactly. And it's one of those things too where you hone it over time and learn what works best for you, because what we recommend may not always work may not be the best way that someone else prefers to do it.
Yeah.
Some people, like when the magic of the invitation and how we fill the room, because the biggest challenge people have with events is getting people in the room. And so we teach a 7-week invitation process, but ultimately you can determine the order and the flow that you want to do that. If you are really limited on time, you can actually choose to kind of start with electronic communication. And then as you get closer to the event, you start actually doing the phone calls, versus the other way is starting with the phone calls and then hitting electronic after that. So it's kind of whatever works for your personality and for your time availability.
I think the big thing you have there is 1 out of 7 times you got to pick up the phone, because when I'm talking to people and we're just BSing away and we're just catching up for a few minutes, and it's like, okay, now you got to drive into the purpose of the phone call. And hey, I just want to let you know, Tommy, I appreciate you the time. I just want to get to the point. And you don't say it that way because it sounds salesy, but we are hosting a happy hour this Friday at Aucherbacher Island. I would love for you to come, see you and the wife, and whatever the scenario is. Bring in the kids if it's a fall festival or whatever you have going on. But just get into the point of the invite and say, okay, cool, all right, sounds great. We'll talk to you later. Look forward to seeing you there. And that's as simple as that.
Yeah, exactly. You can go super straight to it, and then get the invite out, and then if they decide they want to talk, then you can continue the conversation there. The people that are like short on time or just whatever, then they want to get off the phone, but you can kind of leave the door open, and you can. That's actually the magic. It truly is in the invitation, because the reason to call actually creates opportunities for some people will say, how's business going? How are things, etc. And then you get into a referral conversation. If someone says, how's business? You can say, fantastic, with one exception. Let's see, what's that? I can always use more referrals. Now you're in a referral conversation. No, you didn't ask for the referral. You created a referral conversation because they asked you. And that's the magic of how we do it, is that we're always leading with attraction. We're leading with generosity and appreciation. But when people open the door, the answer is always referrals in terms of phone call. And it works so well with the event situation, because you have that reason to start warming that up. And likewise, listen, market's been crazy, right? Like people are agents, especially, agents, lenders, it's like every industry surrounding real estate has been completely just swamped. And so maybe it's a situation where you haven't been communicating with the database. It's the easiest way to warm it up without feeling guilty about the fact you haven't been communicating with them along the way, right? And it's super funny. I remember doing my first invite sequence. I was literally, I'm calling to help. I would psych myself up for every call to get used to that capability that I'm just calling to do an invitation. I'm calling with a give. And it took a lot of mental stuff initially. Now it's not such a big deal, but it definitely helps the mental side of making the outbound call.
So what are some of the we've got 3 main topics we're talking about the event next week. We're gonna send them out with a plan to host an event, correct?
Yeah, exactly. Help you choose your event and literally give you the 52-week plan for what to do every single week for the rest of the year, driven around events. And then we'll layer that with a little bit of one-to-one information as well, because you need to be hosting the events, but you also got to have the one-on-one relationships with the right people and make sure that, and that's kind of what the events helps you figure out, is really where to pour your energy in. So,
and
yeah, go ahead.
The 52-week plan is called YAP, Yearly Action Plan.
Yeah, so there's actually two. There's
Okay.
the yearly appreciation plan, and that's for everybody in your database. That's the whole database, like what you guys just did. And then there's we call the yearly ambassador plan, and that's for so an ambassador is someone who speaks highly of you and refers you willingly multiple times a year. So that could be that client that just has that talking personality, talks to everybody, recommends people, refers all the time. It could be an individual who, as example, financial planners, CPAs, attorneys, usually all good sources for realtors. And again, I know we're going super heavy on real estate. This applies in any market, any profession. But so you have those things, right? So the yearly ambassador plan, it's actually pretty easy to develop an ambassador when you have the strategies. The challenge is in maintaining that ambassador to keep the energy in the relationship. So we have specific kind of two different event plans, and one for everyone, one for just your top people. And that's actually why we recommend starting with the smaller, more intimate. Focus on the quality, focus on the best people first, and let that propel the rest of the business. Rather than trying to go wide at the beginning, start with that smaller group and then grow it from there. And then it's also a lot less overwhelming.
Yeah.
So we have those kinds of two things. And if people are going, oh my gosh, that's too much, it's okay. You get to, what I'm going to help you guide you through is how to choose which one's best for you. Like what's that first one that you want to do, and just get your feet wet. And then you can go from there in terms of how you want to do the rest of the year.
Well, you got to think about it. I mean, if I could start off with my top 50 first, and then, there's 500 people in my database, but that I've sold homes to, but I've got, my top 50 that I'm always in touch with that always seem to have something going on. We got a connection. Keep on those. And then, you build your bigger events, your fall festivals, whatever, pumpkin pickups, pie pickups, whatever.
Yeah.
You build those out to everybody else. And the point is, like, you can post it on social media, because one of those people like, hey, how come I wasn't invited to that happy hour? Well, you really never referred me anybody. So start referring me people, and we'll start inviting you this. Oh, okay, cool. Hey, Johnny over here wants to buy a house. Start making those connections. So the goal is, in our office in Altamont Springs on Thursday at 1:00, we're going to be hosting this. And we're also going to be doing a virtual for people that are not in Orlando that want to check this out as well, correct?
Yeah, correct. Yep. Hybrid event. So no matter what, the opportunity is there to attend. And we'll be doing both.
Awesome. If you guys want to dive into this, definitely shoot us a message. We'll get you the Eventbrite link sent out for the virtual and or in-person, one that's there. What else do we want to share with them about it? We don't want to give too much stuff, because if we gave the whole, plan here on the show, then they wouldn't come.
Yeah.
You want to get them in and get them to understand.
Yeah, I think here's the main thing, and this actually does come from the first kind of component, is like, we a lot of people in many sales in this, any kind of independent sales industry, right? The biggest thing I see repeatedly is that people want consistency, right? Consistent flow, consistent growth, instead of riding the up and down, the roller coaster. Although I love roller coasters, but I don't like the roller coaster of opportunities for my business. I'd much rather have sustainability, and then once it's sustained, then start to grow. And the biggest challenge really with that is, like, we want consistency. Well, why aren't we consistent? Most of the time, it actually comes down to, like, is what you're being asked to do to grow your business in alignment with, like, who you are as a person.
Right.
If you're naturally a relationship builder, and you're, like, being told to pound the phones, and then even worse, like, oh, well, you just don't want it bad enough because you won't get out of your comfort zone and cold call people all day. Like that, you know what? I'm here to say it's okay. It's not your fault. You just need a method of growing your business that feels good to you. Because when it feels good, you're going to do a lot more of it at the end of the day. One of the core tenets of success is knowing how you want to feel and then pursuing actions that align there. And so I say that to say, like, that's really, like, all of our strategies are rooted in love, generosity, and appreciation, everything. So not only does it feel good, it helps other people feel good. Like as you execute the system, you're literally helping people become better, and you're becoming a better person yourself. And so I think that's what, if that's something that really speaks to you, this is the method for you. And if you choose to lean in and master it, your business you'll never have to worry about where your opportunities are going to come from, and you will really, truly, genuinely love the process of building your business. And that's what we're all about. So that's really what, that's what drew me to the system. Into learning all of this was I couldn't stomach it. And I said, I'm either going to learn how to meet someone new and grow that relationship, or like I'm done with business, because I just wasn't going to do the other methods. And again, nothing wrong with the other methods. They work. I'm not saying they don't. If that's what you want to do it, but focus on it. Right. And so if it's one of those where you really want to focus on referrals and really set the foundation and grow with referrals, then this is the place to be.
Yeah. No, and I've got some agents that I know that consistently sell 30 homes a year. They're perfect at that. It's all referral based. They can get up to 40 or 50, but it's like, you always got to think, what's my next thing I need to add into my business? And, I run a team. So if we ran a team completely off referrals, that'd be awesome. We always got to be adding new blood to our database. And so we've got to go out and, okay, maybe we'll do some Zillow spend, or maybe we'll do some Google, but, or maybe we keep retargeting our people. So they say, oh my God, we see you everywhere. You find different things to add in to help, bring yourself next level with the people that you're in touch with. And, I don't want to build a business strictly off pay-per-click, because that is it's a lot of turnover business, you can call it. I'd rather build a business off many avenues. And if I can build a strictly off referrals, that's the best way to do it. But, and you got to figure out what's going to work for you. And as you grow your team, or as you grow your individual business, how you want to stay consistent with it. So,
yeah. And you hit on something there with just like knowing the phase of your business that you're in, right? Like I've had clients where, they come in and they're working with us and they're finding that initial success, and then they go, okay, great. I want to, they're early in the process. Like, totally agree. You have to add on other things. But also understanding where you are in the growth of the business, because if you're especially when you're just getting started, like the biggest thing is double down on what works. Like just focus more like what worked, and then double down on learning that, and then you're good to go. And then as you're growing, you're adding on the other components, and it starts to come from different areas. But eventually it just takes on a life of its own, and it's amazing what's possible.
You have to excuse my interruption for a second. I was making a note of 2 agents that I want to invite to this thing, because I know they build their business on referrals. So I'm like, all right, they're one of my people I'm getting a message out to for Thursday.
Yeah, thank you.
Got to write them down, otherwise I'll forget them because I'm getting old. No, I appreciate you jumping on today. I'm looking forward to Thursday. It's going to be high level. With the last event you had at our office we're walking out with an action plan on thank you cards. And so we had those written while we were there. It's not like, okay, here's the card, go do it, or here's business plan, go do it later. No, guys, 10-minute break. Don't get up, go to the bathroom. This is where you actually got to fill your cards out. And here's the stamps, here's everything to put them in the mail. So I love that it's like we're going to put the event together, and we're going to talk about events. And if you need to spend time after and help build the event further, we're there to help you do that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, man, I love it. Sounds good. Looking forward to it.
Yes, awesome, guys. We'll see you next Thursday in our office in Altamont Springs, or in Zoom World, and at 1:00. See you then, guys.
Cool.
Appreciate you.
Thank you.
And broadcast.